Today we're going to make sort of a butter beef mole, kind of an Indian Mexican fusion. Chop your beef bite size and then add about 6 to 10 tablespoons of baking soda. Cover it all the way about 1 inch over with water and mix it really well. Let it sit for 24 hours in that mixture. It'll kind of soak it all up. Once it's done, you'll want to deactivate that baking soda. So you want to add, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 cups of vinegar and stir it up really well. Make sure you let it get room temperature and keep stirring it and get that foam out of there. Otherwise that foam will come up in your sauce and won't go away. It'll leave a really bad taste in your mouth. So deactivate that baking soda, and then after you deactivate it, rinse it really well, maybe 3 or 4 times until it runs clear. Kind of push the excess water out of there and set all of the beef aside. Now you're going to set up one bowl to measure spices for your sauce, and one bowl you're going to put all the spices into your butter beef. You may as well do it at the same time because most of the spices are the same. 1 or 2 tablespoons of coriander, about a tablespoon of cumin, another of garam masala, another of smoked paprika. You can add several tablespoons, like 3 to 5 tablespoons of ginger garlic paste. You can buy them separately if you can't find them combined. It's hard to overdo the ginger garlic paste. If you want chili powder, add that. I tend to use the Kashmiri chili powder. It's not really that spicy. It's a little bit of spice, but it's more of a red, it's kind of a redder color of the chili powders, but it doesn't really matter what kind. If you don't want any spice, skip the chili powder. I like allspice in there. It's not really anything else, kind of a Caribbean spice, but it tends to go really well with this fusion mix. You can skip that if you want to. And now I add sort of the Mexican spices. So for the sauce itself, I add about a cup of hemp seed, a half cup all the way to 1 cup of raisins. You could also use dates for this if you want, or even tamarind sometimes if you want. I use about a tablespoon of thyme. This goes both in the beef and in the sauce. 1 or 2 tablespoons of oregano, maybe about a half tablespoon of salt in each. And then for the dried chilies, I like the ancho has that smoky flavor. It's not very hot, but it really thickens the sauce and adds that smokiness. So a handful of large ancho chilies. For these, you want to chop them up and take those stems out of there. If you don't chop them, they tend not to, as you're cooking it, the liquid tends not to penetrate and it doesn't mix quite as well. So for those, I chop them up. If you want the spice, add 10 to 20 arbol chilies. Those have a lot of kick. I add about a cup of yogurt and mix it up really well until it's totally mixed through. And at that point, I let that sit for 24 hours, and then here's where it starts. So now we're going to do the sauce and the meat at the same time. It'll just save you time. They take about the same amount of time to cook, 45 minutes to an hour, give or take, depending on how much you're making. I put everything on high to start, just to get it rolling. I put about a half cup of either olive or avocado oil in the onion, and then about 3/4 of a cup. You may have to add some more with the beef. If it soaks all of it up, add some more and start it cooking. And you want to do a little bit of almost caramelizing, so you're going to have the onions going for about 10 or 15 minutes to start by themselves, just to get them sort of cooked really well. I think in this video I didn't quite caramelize them, and that's fine. As you're doing the beef, you want to get all the extra stuff out of there so it doesn't keep burning and sort of wreck the flavor of your oil. But just keep doing the beef in batches as you keep the sauce going. After the onions are pretty well done, I'd add another maybe 3 or 4 tablespoons of ginger garlic paste. Cook that, then dump in the rest of your ingredients. And then I add 1 or even 2 cans. I think in this I use 1 can, but even 2 cans of diced tomatoes is pretty good in here. And just 1 can, maybe half as much of coconut oil. That's going to cook for about, say, 20 minutes, on medium to high. Stir it periodically, all the while you're getting the beef going and cooking that. And by the time you finish all your beef, your sauce should be about done. So when the sauce is done, you want to turn it off, add about a pint of heavy cream. And this is, of course, give or take. Some people use just condensed milk instead. I don't really care for the flavor quite as much. And then that's where you add your fenugreek, or called methi, if you're looking for it in the Indian market. And so add that when it's starting to cool a little bit. I also add one bunch of cilantro just roughly chopped in here. And so now you're kind of getting ready to finish it up. I just turn it off to finish the beef as I'm getting the sauce ready. Dump the cilantro in here at the end. Stir that up. You're going to want to blend this really well. The amount here I have enough for is about just a couple of large blenderfuls. So I'm going to finish the beef, finish the sauce. Here in just a second, we'll blend that up. This is kind of a good fusion between the Mexican and Indian. The base sauce for both of these, the moles and the butter chicken, most Indian curries actually, is that tomato onion. And it's really the same thing for the Mexican moles. So it works really well with this fusion. I don't really see it done very often. Actually, I've never seen this particular recipe, the butter chicken and chicken mole. And this is not mole poblano, so there's no chocolate in here. I've done it with chocolate several times and don't like it so much, so I don't do that in this recipe. When you're done, blend it up. I kind of pour it so I can empty out that sauce and then dump everything back into the large pot so I can stir it all up with all the sauce, mix it well, and then here in just another few seconds we'll be just about done. I may add another bunch of fresh cilantro on top, stir it up, and that's all there is to it. After you're done with this, you can freeze this for a while, and it freezes just fine, even with that cream in there. At least it's worked pretty well for me, and there you go.